I opened the door faster than I should have, and there she was, wiping something off her lips, something that shouldn't have been there. And next to her was my son, wearing a t-shirt that was definitely not his. It was supposed to be a regular Tuesday, just like hundreds before it. I worked downtown as a financial advisor, Chicago's Loop. That day I had a meeting planned for the afternoon, but it got canceled last minute. A rare break. So I figured I'd head home early and catch a breath. When I pulled into our suburban driveway, the world was quiet, sunny, peaceful. Nothing felt out of place. The house I bought 10 years ago looked as calm as ever. Manicured lawn, big porch, basketball hoop Ethan and I installed last summer. Everything looked untouched, like nothing bad could live here. But as soon as I slid the key into the lock, my body froze. I couldn't explain why. The air felt heavier, like I was stepping into a place I no longer belonged. I walked into the foyer, and then the smell hit me. I knew Claire's perfume. She was our nanny. But today it was overpowering. Too thick, mixed with something warm, bodily. That, a scent in the air, too close, too human. The kind you can't fake. I took off my shoes slowly, careful not to disturb the silence that now felt hostile. My heart started pounding as I stepped down the hallway. Every creak under my feet felt deafening. But I moved quietly, almost like I was sneaking into my own home. The living room door was ajar, and, through the gap, I saw what I should never have seen. Claire, back turned, hair messy, like she just woke up, or just finished something. She was wearing my white button-down. Just that, it long enough to pass as clothing, short enough to raise questions. One hand wiping her lips. Quick, nervous. Next to her stood Ethan, 18, my son. But in that moment, he looked 12, caught stealing cookies. His hair was damp. The shirt he wore wasn't his. It was hers, a NASA tee I gave Claire for Christmas. Too small on him, but none of that mattered now. I felt paralyzed. My legs turned to sand, and inside my head, just one noise, a high-pitched ringing that wouldn't stop. What the hell is going on here? My voice came out hoarse, not even sounding like me. They turned fast. Claire's face drained of color. Her eyes went wide. Her lips trembled. Ethan stared at the floor. "Dad, it's not what you think," he mumbled. "Not what I think." I laughed. "Dead hollow. What am I supposed to think, seeing you half-dressed with the woman who raised you?" "Brian, please, let us explain." Claire stepped toward me. I lifted my hand, stopped her in place. "How long?" I asked, my voice flat. "Tell me the truth. Right now." Ethan's voice barely made it out. "A few months. Since New Year's." It felt like a punch to the face. I remembered every night I stayed late at the office, thinking everything was fine at home. Every time I trusted Claire with him, thinking she cared for him like he was her own. "You were just a kid." And she knew it. I set my throat tight. I turned to her. "How could you, Claire? You were like a second mother to him." "It wasn't like that," she started. I wasn't listening anymore. "You both betrayed me," I said quietly. "You, Claire. I trusted you more than anyone. And you, Ethan. You're my son. You were supposed to know better." "I love her, Dad," Ethan said suddenly. His eyes held a conviction I didn't want to see. "You don't know what love is," I spat. "She used you. Played you. Played us both. You were never there." Claire snapped. Her voice sharp, aggressive now. "I was the one here when he needed someone. When he was alone. Where were you?" "Get out," I said. Cold. Final. "Both of you. Now." She didn't say another word. Grabbed her bag from the hallway. Ethan looked at me for a long moment, then followed her. The door clicked shut behind them, and the silence that followed. It wasn't peaceful. It was a silence that screamed. I stood alone. My entire world turned inside out in seconds. I didn't know how to move forward. Didn't even know who I was anymore. All I felt was pain, and a loss so deep, I knew I'd never get back what they took from me. I couldn't stop myself. I'd stand outside their doors like a lunatic, listening, breathing through my teeth. And what I heard, it changed me forever. 2 weeks had passed since I walked in on them. Claire, Ethan, and every minute since, I'd felt like I was losing my grip on reality. By day, I was still showing up to work. Meetings, clients, cracking jokes with coworkers. But that was just surface. Beneath it, boiled shame, jealousy, humiliation, rage. I started watching them. Not because I needed more proof. I had more than enough. But I had to know how deep the betrayal went. How far they were willing to go. I placed a small camera inside the house. Check their phones. Read their messages. God, the messages. They weren't just flirting. They were vivid, detailed, like they wanted me to find them. Descriptions of what they did. How good it felt. How dumb I was for never catching on. They joked about me. Called me the blind idiot. Walking wallet. A ghost in his own house. Those words didn't just hurt. They bled. They cut me in places I didn't know could bleed. And it got worse. I overheard them talking. More than once. Late at night, when they thought I was asleep. One evening, I stood outside Ethan's door. They were in there. Voices low, but clear enough. He still doesn't suspect anything, right? Claire said. Her tone. Amused. Like it was funny. All he sees are spreadsheets and numbers. Ethan replied. To him, I'm just another project. You deserve more than him, she said. He doesn't see you like I do. It wasn't tenderness in her voice. It was triumph. I stood there, stone still, listening to my own son agree with her. He didn't defend me, didn't stop her. He talked about me like I was a burden, a stranger. I started to wonder, was it my fault? Had I failed him after all? Was this the result of me always putting work first, leaving him behind after his mother left us? Maybe I hadn't been the father he needed. Maybe I'd made it too easy for them to destroy me. Those thoughts spun around my brain every night. I couldn't sleep. I'd lie in bed, replaying every missed moment. Every time I canceled plans. Every time I chose a client over him. And I hated myself for it. But beneath that guilt, another voice grew louder. The one that wanted revenge. I couldn't just let it go. I couldn't just move on and pretend I hadn't been gutted. No, they needed to feel it. Both of them. They needed to understand what it felt like. To be betrayed by someone who's supposed to protect you. But here's the thing. He was still my son. My blood. My responsibility. I couldn't destroy him completely. Not like she had destroyed me. So I began planning. A slow burn. Cold. Surgical. Something that would separate them forever. Without dragging him through public hell. During the day, I wore my old face. The polished, smiling professional. At night, I haunted my own house. Watching camera footage. Reading their messages again and again. Punishing myself. The hate grew. It crawled through me like mold, feeding on everything good I had left. I noticed how I changed. Quieter. Colder. Even cruel. Sometimes. People at work started avoiding me. They sensed it. That I was becoming something else. Something darker. I tracked their routines. Found their favorite meeting spots. I archived messages. Backed everything up. I had power now. Real power. And it felt good. Until it didn't. Because with every hour spent planning, I became less of who I was. And more of the thing I never thought I'd be. And on the day I decided exactly what to do. How to do it. I knew something for certain. My life would never look the same again. 3 more weeks passed after that night. The night I finally decided how I was going to do it. Every detail was planned. Every move rehearsed. I didn't rush. I prepared like a surgeon. Cameras. Screenshots. Messages. I had everything. Enough to shatter the little fantasy world they built for themselves. And then I invited everyone over. Friends. Neighbors. A few family members. A casual dinner under a very not casual roof. Claire and Ethan didn't suspect a thing. They showed up smiling. Claire looked calm, maybe even confident. Ethan was nervous, but trying to fake it. The room was warm, cozy, clean. Dinner table set like a holiday postcard. Soft jazz in the background. I poured wine, made small talk, passed bread. To them, it looked like nothing was wrong. Inside me, everything was on fire. My hand shook when no one was looking, but I kept smiling. Because monsters were masks, too. Once everyone was seated, I tapped my glass with a spoon. The room fell silent. I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight, I said. My voice flat, emotionless, rehearsed. This evening means a lot to me. Claire smiled. That same hollow smile I used to believe. Ethan sat beside her, stiff, pale. The last few weeks have been hard. I continued, looking straight at Claire. I've learned a lot, seen a lot, and I want to share some of that with you tonight. I grabbed the remote, pointed it toward the wall-mounted TV. The screen lit up. At first, just texts. It started playful. It didn't stay that way. Silly. Then more. Deeper. Crueler. Disgusting. Their messages. The kind you don't ever unsee. Guests leaned in, their faces shifting from confused to horrified. Whispers filled the room. Claire turned white. She tried to stand. Sit, I said. Cold. Quiet. Final. Then came the videos. Footage from the hidden cameras. She entered his room like it was normal, their arms around each other, laughing, kissing. They laughed like none of it meant anything. No guessing, no doubts, just truth. On display. Silence dropped like a bomb. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. People stared at them, Claire and Ethan, with disgust. Judgment painted across every face. Claire covered her face, her shoulders shaking with sobs. Ethan looked frozen, couldn't even lift his head. I stood still, felt something sharp, something ice-cold crawl down my spine. Satisfaction, but also grief, because that was still my son, still my blood, and he looked like something inside him had died. You needed to see the truth, I said, barely above a whisper. Now you know who they really are. Chairs scraped the floor. Guests started leaving. Some muttered words of support. Some didn't look at anyone. They just wanted out. When the last door shut, it was just the three of us. Me, the woman who tore this family apart, and the boy who followed her in. I looked at them both, eyes dry, heart broken long before. Now you know what I felt these last few weeks, I said. What it means to be humiliated, to be betrayed. You won't forget this. Claire cried softly. Ethan stared at the floor, eyes red, lips shaking. I'm sorry, he whispered. No, I said, turning my back on them. You should be sorry to yourself. I walked out, closed the door to my room behind me, sat on the edge of the bed, and closed my eyes. There was no peace, only quiet. I got my revenge, but it didn't make me feel whole. I knew nothing would ever feel normal again. I woke up to silence, not the kind that soothes, the kind that screams. No footsteps, no voices, just my own breath filling the empty house like a warning. I stepped out of the bedroom, and I knew they were gone. No sign of Claire, no trace of Ethan, nothing, just the stillness, just me. And for a second, I didn't know if what I felt was grief or relief. Days passed. Neither of them reached out. No texts, no calls. The quiet became unbearable. I tried to slip back into routine, but it didn't stick. Neighbors looked away. Friends kept their distance. At the grocery store, at the gym, people avoided eye contact. I was radioactive. Alone. I started drinking. Not for pleasure. To numb. To erase. Each day bled into the next. A loop of guilt, rage, and silence. Then one night, a knock at the door. I opened it. Ethan was standing there. Pale. Red-eyed. But clear. Can I come in? He asked. I nodded. He stepped inside. We sat across from each other in the living room, not saying a word. Minutes passed. Then, finally, he spoke. I need you to know. I'm sorry. I betrayed you. I hurt you. I don't even know why I did it. But I can't carry it anymore. I'm not asking for your forgiveness. I just need to say it. Out loud. I looked at him. My son. The boy I raised. The boy who broke me. He looked hollow, but honest. I didn't know if I could ever truly forgive him. But I knew this much. I couldn't hold on to the hate forever. Where's Claire? I asked after a long pause. She left, he said. I don't know where. She said she couldn't stay here after that night. I didn't feel victory. Didn't feel satisfaction. Just an ache. A quiet ache where the fury used to live. I can't say things are okay, I told him. But I don't want to lose you completely. We both lost too much already. I don't know how to fix this, but I'm not ready to let go of you. He nodded. Tears rolled down his face. And we just sat there, saying nothing, because there were no words left. The months that followed weren't easy. They were heavy, uncomfortable, but we tried. Slowly, we rebuilt something. Not what we had, something new. Claire never came back. Now and then, I heard rumors. Another state, another country. She became a ghost in stories people barely remembered. Ethan moved to another city, college. He changed, grew, became someone better than he was. And me? I realized revenge never gives you what you think it will. You don't feel better. You just feel emptier. All I was left with was a quiet house, a tired body, and the weight of what I'd lost. But one crisp autumn afternoon, standing on the porch, watching the leaves fall, I felt something. Not happiness, but release. Life would go on. Not the same life, but still mine. I wouldn't forget, but I could live with it. And that's when I finally felt free.